Hello everybody, it's Miss Viva, and thank you for joining us for VisArts Story Time with Miss Viva. That's me. Today we're going to read a story, and then afterwards we're going to draw together, and we'll draw something that's from the story. So, reach up, get your sticky glue, and put it down in front of you. Can you open it up? Stick your hands inside. Ugh, it's sticky. Put it on your tail feather and say, stick, stick, stuck. Open up your watching eyes. Open up your listening ears. But don't lose the key. Put it in your pocket. It's time for today's story. Today's story is called Little Owl's Day. That's Little Owl. Say hi, Little Owl. Let's see if he makes any friends today. A squirrel was chittering very loudly. Little Owl couldn't sleep anymore. He blinked, opened his eyes. Owls normally sleep during the daytime, and then they're awake at nighttime. It was too bright to be the moon. This must be the sun, he whispered. Little Owl, yawned Mama, go back to sleep. But Little Owl was wide awake. Look at those big open eyes. The wrens were trilling sweetly. The ground was covered in flowers that Little Owl had never seen. They're beautiful purple flowers with bumblebees. Their petals were open for the sun and for the bees. Moths, Little Owl called. But no, these were butterflies. Little Owl thought he knew the forest well, but it seemed so different now. Little Owl is used to being out at nighttime, but now that it's day, everything looks so different. How many butterflies do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. There's even my favorite animal on this page. You see him down here? It's a frog. I love froggies. Dragonflies were skimming the pond. They could even fly backwards. Little Owl couldn't wait to tell the bats. Here are the dragonflies. They're flying around the pond. One looks like it's going to land on Little Owl's head. Snakes slid into the water, gliding among the lilies and the reeds. I see snakes in the water, whoa. Turtle was sunning herself on the rocks. The meadow erupted with barks and yips. Wolf pups were at play. And their mother howled, "Ow!" And the pups dashed off to meet her. Near Grumbly Cave, there was Bear, splashing after the fish. You're always asleep, Little Owl said, when I want to show you the moon. Well, you're always asleep, Bear said, when I want to show you a rainbow. Little Owl had never been to the waterfall. Here's the waterfall, and it made a rainbow. And there's Owl sitting on the tree with his friend Bear. At sunset, Little Owl started flying home. I see some animals hiding on this page. What do you see? I see a moose and some snails crawling on the lawn. And if you look closely, you'll see a little skunk sleeping too. Good night, skunk. Deer bit blackberries from the thorny branches, and boars were rooting around the brambles. Boars are like wild pigs. A piglet squealed. Little owl is awake. Hello, little owl, squealed another piggy. The possums were just stirring, and Hedgehog was sleeping, so the mice were eating her mushrooms. Sneaky little mice are coming to eat her food. The stars began to glitter as the sky went dark. The moon was rising. What kind of animals do you see on this page? I see a family of foxes. And if you look really closely, you can see something flying in the night sky. They're bats. Little Owl reached his tree, and Bunny nodded a sweet goodnight and ducked into her burrow. Little Owl was astonished. She lived just below. Owl didn't know that Bunny was his neighbor. Little Owl was excited to tell Raccoon all about his day. Then he had one more place to go. Little Owl was sleepy, but he had promised Bear that he'd show him the moon at night. And you can see Bear and Raccoon and Owl all together, looking at the moon. Thank you for being such great listeners today. Now, we're going to draw our own little owl. And for this activity, you're just going to need some paper and something to draw with. I'm going to use colored pencils today, but you can also use markers or crayons or whatever you have at home that you can draw with. All right, friends, I have my paper and I'm ready to draw. Just like our story, today we're going to draw our own little owl. And so I've got my pencil ready to go. And the first thing we're going to do to draw our little owl is we have to make his head. And his head is a big, long, oval shape. So an oval is like a stretched out circle. Let's see if I can. There we go. Better shot for you guys. Now let's go ahead and add his wings and body. So I'm going to start by making his body. And his body is just going to kind of be a curve coming down from the top, from the bottom of his head rather. So we've got our big circle head, oval head. We're coming down to make his body. And from here, that's where we're going to make our wings come out. So the first wing starts the same way as the body. You're just going to curve that line down from the head. And then we got to make the wings go out, so you can make them as long as you'd like. And I'm going to give them little feathers by putting little curves on the wing until I get to the top feather, and the wing is going to connect to the head. So we have our head and our body we curved down, and our wing we curved down and made some little swoopy feathers. And now we're going to do the same thing for our wing on the other side, but we're going to start on the body, kind of at the bottom. And we're gonna have the wing come out and make the pretty feathers. Same way you did on the first one. And I'm gonna go back in and make this one a little bit darker so you can see it better. Almost looks just like owl now. What's missing? We've got our head and our body and our wings. Owl needs his face. So we're gonna go ahead and do his eyes, which are really big circles. And they kind of start all the way on the end of his head. So you can start your circle on the end of the head of the owl, and you're just gonna bring it around town, make a big circle for the eye. We'll do one on one side and one on the other side too. Make it really big. Owls have big, big eyes. So now we need to do the inside part of his eye. So I'm gonna draw another circle, not as big, just a little bit smaller, inside of both of my big round eyes. And it's okay if your owl doesn't look just like mine or just like the one in the book. There are many different kinds of owls. Okay, so we got his big eyes done. I'm gonna make his eyes even bigger. So if you want, you can do an even bigger circle around what you've already done. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Let's see, right about here, I think. A bigger circle. Nice and round. And you might remember that our owl friend had some little feathery ears. They kind of look like king crowns. So you're just gonna come up from behind the head and draw some little zigzags. Now the last thing we need to add before we can color him is his beak. And in the story, little owl has a diamond-shaped beak. So I like to start by drawing a little mountain or an upside-down V shape. And then once I have that shape, I'm gonna go down, starting at the bottom of it, and I'm gonna make a letter V. That's a little owl, just like from the story. And if you want, you can take some extra time and you can color him. Now I'm gonna color him orange like he was in the story, but you can color him any color you want. It's your owl. Maybe you want a rainbow owl, or maybe you have some really beautiful glitter you want to put on the owl. Maybe your owl is your favorite color. Or maybe you're gonna give your owl to somebody you care about, and maybe you can make it their favorite color. So I've got his head colored in. Now I'm gonna do his body. And to make sure it doesn't get too blended in, I'm gonna make his line a little bit darker here so you guys can really see the wings. And I'm gonna color in the wings orange. Again, you can make your owl any color. Maybe your owl has one color wings and a totally different colored head. To finish up, I'm going to give my owl a yellow beak. I have a yellow marker here. You can use whatever material you have, maybe crayons, markers, or colored pencils. In the book, our owl has green eyes, so I've got a green pen here too. And I'm just going to color his eyes green like the story. And it's okay if it takes some time. Sometimes I like to sing a song while I color, because because it helps me stay focused and pass the time. It's okay if it's taking a long time. If you want, you can even take a little break and come back to it and finish it in a minute. Okay, so he's got his green eyes now. And very last thing to make this owl complete is the middle of his eye is a big black pupil. And we have those too in our eyes. They're what make it so we can see. I'm gonna do him some nice black dark pupils here. So he can see really good. Ta-da! And that's our owl we made today. Hoo, hoo. Thanks for drawing with me today. For VisArts Story Time with Miss Viva, I'll see you next time.